Tea party among Moors. With them the 3 cups are drunk with much ceremony. From the New York Commercial Advertiser. The clink of the teacup is heard through the land these days, and the sale of brass kettles and silver tea balls goes merrily on. The samovar, so popular for a couple of seasons, is hardly ever used now, and the round fat teapot, with an apparently inexhaustible capacity for holding fragrant, flowery pecan or orange pico, is again first favorite. Teacup parties are credited with devouring their friends as well as their macaroons in thin bread and butter, but one hears wisdom in great quantities around some tea tables. One woman whose wide innocent eyes have seen most countries told about a Moorish tea party between sips of Ceylon and lemon juice. She said the Moors are the greatest of all tea drinkers, even greater than the Chinese or our Irish servant maids. To the Moor, tea makes the place of all intoxicants, for the Moor is a Knight Templar of the most inexorable type. Moorish tea is made with as much pomp and ceremony as if living sacrifice were to be offered up. Everyone in the house squats on the floor, the head of the house near the teapot. Then the servant, who is always called either Absalom or Mohammed, brings in the boiling urn. The master rinses the teapot, puts in the tea, fills the pot with water, waits for a few moments, and skims the frothy substance that rises to the surface. Packs the precious teapot as full as possible with freshly picked mint, and then, taking as much sugar as one would imagine would fill a teapot, pokes it into a mint-flavored concoction, lets it stand some minutes, and then pours out a little of the weak but highly flavored tea and drinks it himself to assure his guest that it is not poisoned. Then solemnly the cups are filled for the visitors, and with the utmost pomp and many salams handed round to the men first, as in Morocco even foreign women do not count. 3 cups are the usual allowance, and one must swallow them somehow or run the risk of being considered both ill-bred and ungracious. Tea gardens, where the precious plant is grown, are the disappointment to the foreigner. The shrubs are low and scraggy, and neither the picking, sun drying, nor packing process is picturesque. At the Theater, Lost in Egypt, 1907. Lost in Egypt was presented last night by the Harris Parkinson Company to a crowded theater. The company is playing at popular prices, 10 cent, 20 cent, and 30 cent. Last night's performance thoroughly pleased the audience. The company used its own scenery. The specialties was clever. The Innocent Young Maid, sung by Harris Parkinson and Mrs. Strathmore, and Drew, was well rendered and elicited applause. The Kissing Song by Parkinson and Drew made a hit, as did Tra-La-La and Newspaper Talk. Baby Trixie, 4 years old, sang several selections very clearly. There was not appeared here this season a brighter child artist than Trixie. The work of B.H. Howe as an Arabian was particularly good, and after Harris and Parkinson, the others who came in for a share of approval were Inez Adams, Noble Drew, Fanny Sampson, Ella Francis, Louise Strathmore, and Maud Dixon. Harris is an Atlanta boy and has friends here. In the Name of the Caesar will be the bill tonight. This is one of the company's best prices. Canaanite Temple unearthed in Palestine, Jerusalem. A Canaanite temple dating from the first half of the 2nd millennium BC, approximately contemporary with the age of the Hebrew patriarchs, has been unearthed at Naharia, at a short distance from the seashore. The temple, which consists of one large hall and one small adjacent room, is built of sandstone blocks. The walls of the temple have been preserved to the height of about 7 feet. 7, we talking about Canaanites, we talking about Moors, 7 feet. Fragments of incense burners, figures of doves which were considered bird attributes of the goddess of Ashtaroth, and more than 100 miniature votive vases and bowls, and a large bronze axe were unearthed by the excavators. Unearthed Canaanite Fort. At Beisan in Palestine, members of the University of Pennsylvania Museum's archaeological expedition unearthed the ruins of the Big Canaanite Fort, dating from 1411 BC. Islam. Moorish America. What kind of people do live in South America? the Spanish, the Portuguese, but chiefly the descendants of these European races who have intermarried with the Indians. Other nations have made lesser contributions. Brazil, which is only a few days by steamer from West Africa, is 1/3 Asiatic, the crudest type of Asiatic on the American hemisphere. There is a strong mark of the Moor upon the Spaniard. The Arabic Moor wrought his customs very deeply into the life of Spain. The people of Mexico and Cuba might be called Moorish Americans rather than Latin Americans. Again, the people of Mexico and Cuba might be called Moorish Americans rather than Latin Americans. This ain't something Noble Drew Ali wrote. This ain't something that the Moors wrote. This is in the papers in Library of Congress, brothers and sisters. The customs, manners, and heart experiences in these people of Latin American are more Moorish than Christian, more Muslim, more Arabic than Spanish. World outlook, Moorish American.
Let's uplift the nation. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice is the only way. Wait for salvation. Let's uplift the nation. This ain't church. When I spit it, you gon' get the civics. If not, you drowned it in the cares of the world's illness. Malignant imagination figment, turning sacred lands into abandoned tenements. Illegitimate when you stand at the table of nations. If you more than kiss your feet, if you black, they get the taste. Man, this is an amazing Drew Ali celebration, laying foundations brick by brick, brother, no mason. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice is the only way. Wait for salvation. Let's uplift the nation. Akashic cordless when I write, to stand with marvelous light in the middle of the night. Tassel swinging left to right, the swing of my scimitar's tight. But I want my brother to unite before Allah's wrath strike. It's like my gnosis on high, since I focused on Allah. Watch the zombie stagger by between the pillars I cry. Divine and national, GS Nama, Canaan land Moors, Khalifa society in the soul temple doors. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice is the only way. Wait for salvation. Let's uplift the nation. They never heard a Muslim son like this before. Honors to Drew Ali and the Moors, I yield the floor. But before I go, I gotta roar the the truth that Allah brought through Ali's thought to save his flock. I got the keys to the lock. Drew Ali's all we got.